Hello guys, my name is Solomon Ocampo.
I'm Elizabeth Ocampo, and I am a pastor and a mother, and I do many things. What are the things I do?
Well, you're a content creator.
Oh, I'm a content creator recently. So we have a vlog on YouTube at WeAreOcampo. Ocampo ile ya Hague.
We've been married for 6 years now in November, and as she said, we co-pastor at Gospel Tabernacle Worship Center in South B. And
I'm the youth pastor. He's the pastor for the young couples. And we have 3 beautiful children, our firstborn being 5 years and 3 years and 1 year old. How we met is very different because we never met. Us guys are in an arranged marriage, modern day arranged marriage. Like those ones you see of the Indians. Yes, that's us. So that's how we met.
We didn't meet. That's how we did not meet, but we still got married through an arrangement of our parents. I don't know if any brave soul out there, whether a man or woman, would try that. It's like jumping in from a cliff, you know. And so it started when my family was a missionary here in Kenya. My parents have been coming since late 80s, but me and my family moved here in 2005. The strange thing is, even though we were close family friends with her parents and her siblings, the two of us had never actually met. Maybe it's just fate or the Lord keeping us away from each other.
I think even if we met, we never would have thought twice about each other. We are not each other's taste.
Really,
like
up to now?
Oh wait, that is in the later.
By the time that 2010 came, I think you were in the States, weren't you?
Yes, I had gone for Bible school.
So we didn't get a chance to meet, although I knew her siblings, her sister, her brothers, and her parents. And she knew my brother and my sisters, right? You were even close friends with some of them. But somehow the two of us never just really crossed paths. So, and then when I went back to the Philippines for university, I stayed there, even though my family was still here. And then my mom had an interesting idea. Talked to her mom and said, "Hey, why don't your daughter marry my son?" And her mom agreed to it. It was like,
wait, my mom didn't agree.
Okay, she didn't agree. What was her side?
My side, okay. My mother went to your sister's wedding.
Oh yeah, in 2011.
All his siblings are arranged marriage. There are 12 children, he's number 6. So number 5 was a girl, so my mother went to his sister's wedding. While she's there, they tell, by the way, the next child to be married is Solomon, this guy. And in fact, they had a list of 7 ladies. Imagine, I was on a list of 7 ladies. I tell you, I beg.
List.
And so they tell my mom, oh, by the way, we are considering your daughter to marry her. And she's like, wow, which daughter? Liz. Hey, don't you know that proud little girl of mine? She will not agree. For sure, my mom called me immediately and she said, hey, the Ocampos want you to marry their son. I'm like, hey, they arranged marriage. She's like, yeah, you know how these guys do it. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm like, mommy, wanaume Kenya wajaisha. And I can find myself a man. Thank you. I even hung up on her. And so she called again. She's like, baby, these guys are serious. Just think about it. I'm like, there's nothing to think about. How am I going to enter into an arranged marriage? It's as if, hey, and at that time I was dating. So it's not, I'm not even single and searching.
You weren't attracted to this face when you saw it?
And so I asked her, which son, by the way? She says, Solomon. So I'm like, hey, who is that? I go on Facebook, Solomon Ocampo. I see the profile picture, I'm like, hey!
Well.
No, thank you.
Wow. Be kind.
Hey, you were showing my picture also. What did you say? You also tell us. Imagine, 2010, I was in a pageant, Miss Africa, Texas. This guy is shown that picture of that pageant of the whole Africans in Texas. I was first runners-up. He shown that picture. What does he say?
I didn't say anything bad. I just said, can I please marry a Filipina?
Wow. Like, wow.
That's all my request.
Wow.
I didn't say you were ugly or you were not looking hot.
Nice.
I was just saying, you know, keep it in the Philippines.
Ish. Guys already rejected me before.
I didn't reject. I was just, you know, making my request. So that's how, as she said, I've seen it happen. It's not a culture in the Philippines, by the way, to do arranged marriage. So it's as strange in the Philippines as it is here in Kenya. I mean, in the Philippines, there's no divorce. So once you get married, that's it. There's no getting out.
This
so
guy tricked me. I already know. So in Philippines, I continue.
there's no divorce. So still, it took a lot of you know, trust to really proceed with it. But seeing my elder siblings, my older sister, older brother, go through it, and up to now, they're all still happily married with lots of kids. And
18 years married.
yeah, so it was easier for me. What about for you? I'm sure it was.
There was nothing. There was nothing. I was not doing it. Like, no.
She said
How
no.
am I going to tell my friends? I mean, an arranged marriage. You know, I didn't tell them until I started my vlog like 1 month ago. They're like, guy, this you're in an arranged marriage all this time. I'm like, imagine.
Were you in a cult or something?
Like, where do I start? Let me just keep it to myself. Hey, 1 month ago, I opened a YouTube channel. My arranged marriage. What? Liz, are you serious?
But because we knew that, I knew my parents wanted the best for me, and they were, you know, good Christians. They were grounded in the Word, and they knew what they were doing, so I trusted them. So that's how I said yes.
So in my case, so my mother came back from Philippines. She was really amazed with the country. She loved it. It was beautiful. His mother had also taken him from island to island. Philippines is made out of 7,000 islands, so it's very easy to fall in love with that country. And so when she came back, she was really just kept on talking about it. Anyway, so my friend was getting married, and she wanted to buy a wedding dress. So my mom told me to tell her, why not the Philippines? You know, it's the wedding capital, all the dresses. But she wanted to go to Dubai. So anyway, somehow we couldn't get our visas for Dubai. So she paid my ticket to the Philippines. Imagine, out of nowhere. And so when my mom saw I'm going, she decided, why not make this a family vacation? So she paid for my siblings and plus herself. We made it a family vacation. We went dress shopping to the Philippines. So we arrived, immediately we arrived. There were just motorcade of cars waiting to pick us up. And so, everyone will tell me, which one is Liz, which one is Liz, which one is Liz? I'm like, why are people interested in Liz? Because I was with my 2 sisters and my brother, so anyone could be Liz. And so, oh, that one is Liz. Oh, you're the one for Solomon. I'm like, I'm like, people, my boyfriend is back home. Don't bring those jokes. And I'm a pastor. I cannot have those in my reputation. So anyway, so we had a great time in the Philippines, but I'll see him like in a glimpse from time to time because he was in the university. In Philippines, they stay in university from morning to evening. But anyway, on the last day when we're leaving, we stayed there for 2 weeks, had a great time there. On the last day when we were leaving, they threw us what they call a despedida, which is a farewell party to go. So anyway, during that time, during the party, the father says, we'd like to betroth our next son. I'm like, wow, this is going to be interesting. I hope those 6 other candidates made it. Like, wow, the prophet's son has finally been betrothed. And I'm sitting there with my sisters, and they're like, you know, he can call you. I'm like, no. So anyway, they call him with his uniform. He comes straight from university.
Private university.
You and this he comes, he stands there and like, he starts speaking the Lord, the scripture, Isaiah. Hey, his daughter is going to come from the east, from the west. I'm like, hey, his daughter is coming from where? Anyway, he says, anyway, we're betrothing him to Elizabeth Muyu. Whoa! My friend, I almost fell down.
You were not jumping up with joy.
I was crying. I started crying. I'm like, no, this can't be happening. I'm like,
Tears
no,
of joy.
this guy's serious. Imagine the whole congregation is here. What? Wait, what? No. So, anyway, I just stood up. For some reason, I was in a white dress that day even. And so, I go and just standing there. I'm crying. He's like, okay, so these two are betrothed. Like, wow. Anyway, so later we talk after. I'm trying to talk to him. He's not even paying attention. Leave him alone. Like, no, this is my future husband. Sure. We go back to Kenya.
I was just as shocked as you were.
Anyway, so we leave, we come back to Kenya, and like I said, I had a boyfriend, so I call him immediately, I tell him what happened, we agreed to break it off. So of course, I've immediately become complicated.
Some people come back from a trip with a keychain.
I came back betrothed. Like, hey, babe. Anyway, so my father also, he was in America, we didn't want to tell him, so when he came, we also told him, he was like, eh? So he sat me down, talked to me, told me how I need love in marriage.
Yeah, his father, the bishop, is not for in this game of the mothers.
I love you. Anyway, so I was like, okay. So that was in 2012. And so by 2013, I realized this thing is going nowhere. I'm going to lose market. My face is sagging. I'm not going to see any money.
Your face is not
So I need to move on. As in, I'm in my 20s. If I waste time, I'll find myself in the 30s and single. Aish, no. So I decided, let me break this thing off so I can come out from being complicated to being single again, so I can be back in the market. For sure, I called his parents. I said, can I please break this betrothment? Because it's kind of like a baggage on me. I can't do anything, you know. And I know I won't do it, so let's just break it. But meanwhile, I tried to talk to him on Facebook, and then he started, he talked a lot of sense, a lot of wisdom. Every time I talked to him, he was full of wisdom. Hey, this guy.
Thank you.
This guy is as wise as an all. Like, wow. While I'm in that season of praying for husband, the Lord reminds me, the Ocampos, those guys have standards. They don't even greet you. They don't even hug you. Like, and his siblings were telling me when I was in the Philippines that all of them, their first kiss in their whole life was in the altar with their arranged marriage. Those are standards, my friend. And those were higher standards than I ever had.
When she cut off the engagement, she broke it off. The betrothal. She also blocked me off social media.
Oh yeah, I blocked him on all social media because he started pursuing. I was like, this.
Of course, as a man, I was pursuing her because, you know, you're seeing your bride fly away, running away. So I was pursuing her.
But you had 6 others you could have gotten.
No, I was not betrothed to them. I was only betrothed to you. So she blocked me on all social media.
I even went on Facebook. I said, I'm single.
And imagine, you're seeing your future bride announcing to the whole world, I'm single. I was like, what? I even commented there. I'm like, what?
Commented, what? I blocked him.
She blocked me.
To spoil market.
That's it. I was thrown out in the cold. She wouldn't, you know, be convinced by my parents. Her mother was keeping the faith. So after a long time, even me, I accepted it after pursuing her like 3 or 4 times. Serious pursuing. She said no, she blocked me. She didn't want my calls. So, and then as she was maybe in that dating scene again, you know, looking to marry, and she didn't find, then one day she contacted me again and unblocked me on social media. I was like, wow, it's nice to hear from her.
Hi.
It was just hi. We were not back. Yes, just unblocked from social media. So it was great to talk to her again, but we knew that, it wasn't back to being engaged.
Yes. To being betrothed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I finished my my course. This is now 2014, around August there. So my sister, his sister-in-law, she's not yet my sister-in-law. His sister-in-law, the wife to his brother.
Yeah, they live here in
They
Kenya.
live here in Kenya. She calls me. She's like, "Hi, Liz. Hi. I hear you finished your course." I'm like, "Yeah, no big deal. Those certificates, they're not a big thing." She's like, "Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to bring you a cake." I'm like, "Okay, sure. Come on." So she comes over. I was braiding my hair, and so I'd reached halfway over here, and then she goes, "Hey, I'm at the gate." I tell people, "Go open. Ocampo is at the gate." She called Gladys. Gladys, Ocampo is at the gate. Okay, so me, I quickly just tie kitamba quickly. I'm dressed funny. I come to the living room, and so she comes in. Then I noticed she's with her whole family, all her children, like many children. I'm like, "You came, all of you, to tell me congratulations for this funny thing I did." She's like, "Yeah, it's a big deal." I'm like, "Okay, where's the cake?" Because I'm not seeing them carrying any cake. And then she's like, "Oh, let me go get the cake." So she comes back with this dude. I'm like, "What?" See me, I know he's in Philippines, so I'm screaming. So for some reason, my siblings were all at home that day. It was a Friday night. And they come, they hear me scream, they all come, and everybody in the house comes. And the sitting room is packed with people. And so I see him, I'm like, "You're here, did you come to propose or what?" Imagine, I spoiled my proposal like that. He's like, "Actually, I just see him go down." Wait. Hold up. Don't do that.
Don't ask questions you don't like the answers to. But she asked the question.
So he kneels down and asks, "Will you marry me?" Hey, he's shaking. It's like, "This is really bad." Why were you shaking?
It's for life.
Hey, I'm like, "Wait, what is happening?" Hey, I'm looking bad. This is not how I expected my engagement to be. People know me I need bongacious things. What are these? I'm half braided. Anyway, so that happened, and I didn't want to embarrass him. So I said, "Yes." And he jumps. She said, "Yes." I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm going to break this guy." And so I'm like, yeah. So anyway, the next day, his brother comes now. Monday after he was flown, says, "My mother would like to fly you to the Philippines." I'm like, "Okay, sure. So you can plan the wedding." I'm like, "Yeah, for when?" She's like, "Tomorrow." I'm like, "Tomorrow? You guys know I have a life here." I just don't stand up and leave. That time I was interning in Truth FM. And so, anyway, I just go, I tell my boss, I got engaged to a Filipino. He's like, "Yeah, now I'm needed in the Philippines tomorrow." He's like, "Tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yes, bye." So I left. I went to the Philippines. He didn't know I was coming. So he was sent to the airport to pick up a guest. They had a conference going on. And so he picked up the guest, and lo and behold,
surprise returned.
So, but he was with people. We were always with around 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people around us. We were betrothed, and we were not allowed to be close to each other, hold hands, hug, kiss, wave. Okay, you could wave. So there was no time to get to know each other, and he was in university. And the funny thing is, I'd prayed, made on like wedding committees. That you start stressing your friends, that thing I really prayed God I don't go through it. Thank God I found a culture that doesn't need wedding committee. Those guys paid everything. Me, I just showed up to my wedding.
And so we flew all of them.
My entire family.
Yes, from Kenya, and some of her friends even. We flew them. Some, like 2 paid for themselves, but the others, we flew them over. And we also asked the other siblings from the States that we were willing to fly them in Some couldn't make it, but most of the family were able to come, and some uncles come, auntie? Yeah. So, and then the wedding was grand. I mean, my Filipino family, they said up to this day, that is the best wedding they've ever been to, because
Because we mixed both cultures.
Yes.
These guys are more into the detail. You know,
Yes.
like the motif, the theme, everything. And then as Africans, we're more into the fun, the music. So we mixed those both.
But remember, we were still not in love with each other.
Then came the honeymoon. And
yes.
that is another thing. My friend, we went on honeymoon with both parents. His parents and my parents. It was a family vacation of honeymoon.
I'm telling you, the next morning, even as I was eating breakfast.
You're going to the buffet there, you're finding your family. You guys are still here, so you go to Nairobi, yeah?
And then finally she had enough.
Finally, I put my foot down. I was like, you guys, you're going back to Nairobi. Don't follow us. Hii mambo imekwisha hapa. Imeishia hapo. Like, no more. You've been painful mmeletwa Philippines. Sasa endeni. Rudi. I know.
No, we didn't go with them to the next venue.
To the next venue. Then, they went back to Nairobi, my siblings. But now we proceeded with parents. Anyway, so it was wonderful. We had our first date after the wedding during that honeymoon period. I remember we ate pizza, our first
chicken
pizza
tikka, I
together,
think. Yeah.
with no 10 people in between us. So now you're starting to ask the real questions. What's your favorite color? Those are our real questions. What's your favorite color? Because you don't know each other anymore.
Yeah, we started from scratch. So basically we started dating after the wedding, after wedding day. So
we began dating. Now let me tell you, dating after marriage is wonderful because we are Christians. There's no premarital sex. But now when you're dating, when you're married, imagine you go for a date with somebody you don't know. And then guilt-free manenos. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. Give me a high five.
Yes, sister.
That's all we had those 2 weeks, because 2 weeks later we were pregnant. And very difficult pregnancy that needed the whole family again. I had to bring in my mother and father from Kenya.
They're back to the Philippines.
Our pregnancy was very difficult. I only wanted githeri, I only wanted ugali. That same day we got out of honeymoon, I was already puking. What was that? And so even we shocked his family. They're like, wait, did you guys do anything before? Like, with where?
Yeah, they were asking questions. Did you do it before you got married? Because how are you this pregnant?
My life.
They were like, what? No. No, they were just making sure because we got pregnant right away.
Yeah.
And so we came back to Kenya. It was an emergency situation because we already got our own place in the Philippines.
I was brought back on a wheelchair.
Yes, it was very sad. It's a condition called HG or hyperemesis gravidarum.
Yeah,
it's very rare.
You puke like 50 times a day.
Yeah, but
Imagine. So you really need that githeri.
yeah, imagine as a
Okay, for me, all I can say is that marriage is very difficult. Whether arranged, whether in love, it's difficult. Just make sure you're doing it with the right person. And pray, fast, do something. Don't just wake up and make up decisions. Make sure the decisions God has told you, has led you, and you'll be able to love somebody with all their flaws, because love is 1 Corinthians 13. That's our guide. We just follow that as a guide. Love is patient, love is kind, love is self-bearing, love is not rude. All those wonderful things that 1 Corinthians tells us is that you have to make it part of your life. You have to live it, not just say it. You have to actually live it, because love is not a feeling. Feelings come and end. People are divorcing left to right because they married on feelings, married on emotions. Don't let that be the root cause to be married, clearly.
Yes, that's a great advice. But you might be surprised. I don't actually recommend arranged marriage to people.
We don't.
Yes, because someone can arrange you for convenience, for status, for money, and have other motives, unless you really trust that mentor, that pastor, that parent that will do the best for you. But the advantage that we had, as she said, we did not start with emotion. And even if you look at India, where they do arranged marriage all the time, their divorce rate is the lowest in the whole world. because the marriage is not founded on something as flimsy as an emotion, but marriage and love is a decision, like she said. So but when you get in and you get married, it's still a marriage like any other. You can't blame your parents. Oh, you were arranged by my mother. You chose this guy. No, it's you and your partner and God. That is how. Yes, that is how you will last, when you hold on to God's promises for you, and you will stay strong because He will carry you through. A love letter to my one and only lovely queen of my heart, Elizabeth. All your names, WeAreOcampo. I love you since the day we joined hearts together, and that has been the best decision after accepting Jesus of my life. And I thank God every day. I can't believe I'm waking up to you. I always feel like I'm the most blessed man in the world. The way you take care of me, the way you take care of our children, and your little surprises, they keep me going. And I just want to know that you'll always be there for me. And with you by my side, I can go through anything in life.
Oh. Well, Solomon, Ebenezer. For sure, loving you has been a journey, but it has been the most amazing journey of my life. Walking down the aisle to this stranger was the best decision I ever made, and I never regret it any day, because you love me just as Christ loved the church. I see it every day. You love me despite the ups and downs, besides my flaws. You love me, and I know that you love me, and I've never doubted your love, and I thank you for that. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you for being my head. Thank you for being my rock that I can always stand on. And I just thank you for being the one God created for me.
I love it.
Thank you.